What is the difference between good carbs and bad carbs? What are starches, and do they make us fat, sick, and give us diabetes? I'll explain all that. Here we go. Hey everybody, this is Dylan. I make videos not just to get you on board with a healthy plant-based diet, but to make it so easy and uncomplicated that you'll actually stick to it for the rest of your life and achieve all of your health goals. That's why we're here today. Now notice, I did say healthy plant-based diet because there is definitely a difference between a plant-based diet and a healthy plant-based diet. A regular plant-based diet could include cookies like Oreos, they're vegan by the way, chips, kettle chips, oh boy, Impossible burgers and things like that. These are all highly processed foods. They are not whole natural foods, and they will not promote your health. They will clean the planet, they will save the animals, but they will not promote your health. I want to talk about the way we actually eat, and that is a diet that is based on starch. Even better would be to say whole starches. Whole starches are all carbs, but not all carbs are going to be whole starches because carbs can be processed junk like I just listed off. The cookies, bread, white pasta, all these things that taste good because they've been engineered to hijack our palate, our taste buds, so that we just keep coming back for more and more. And that is what has caused so much trouble. And everything else, cookies, all these things, there's tons of fat. It's not just the carbs that are the problem. So we get people that have like type 2 diabetes and they're like, oh, carbs are bad, I can't eat carbs, or they're going on a keto diet. We talk about the diet fads here. You've got to sift through the BS here and come back to what is real and what is reality. So what are starches? Let's talk about that. There are lots of foods that we eat. I mean, every food we eat pretty much has at least some carb, some protein, some fat. All the macros are in there. But when we say good healthy carbs or good healthy starches, we're talking about a few different things. First, let's talk about fruit. Whole fruit isn't really a whole starch, but it is a healthy whole natural carbohydrate because there's lots of sugar, which is what powers the body. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but I want to keep explaining what starches actually are. Potatoes. Potatoes are a starch. Any kind of potato, sweet potato, russet potato, gold potato, purple potato, any kind of bean, legume, split peas, lentils, those are all in the legumes category. Then we've got the whole grains, which include brown rice, oatmeal, quinoa, millet, all of the whole natural grains. These are also, by the way, all three of these, the potatoes, the legumes, the grains, they're all the cheapest foods that you can buy. So when people say that eating this way is very expensive, that is definitely not rooted in reality whatsoever. If you want to eat a plant-based diet that's full of all of the processed garbage on the store shelves, like the fake burgers and all this fake foods, the fake cheeses, that stuff's quite expensive. But you don't eat any of that if you're actually looking for health. This is the cheapest way to eat by far. The bulk of our calories come from these whole dried foods. They're the peasant food. And you know I'm right. Other than that, what do we eat? I'll just briefly talk about this because it's not the purpose of the video, but non-starchy veggies. Everything you would put in a salad that adds flavor to things and tons of nutrient-dense beauty to all of your meals. So that would be the greens, that would be bell peppers and onions and celery and garlic. All of those things are non-starchy veggies. They're the least calorie dense. You could eat them and stuff yourself silly on them and you're still only going to get like 100 calories because it's really hard to eat a lot of calories from those foods, but they add tons of flavor and nutrition. Then you've got whole natural fruit. That's a little more calorie dense. We talk all about calorie density. Check out our calorie density videos. But you got fruit, then you got the whole natural starches, and then you've got fats, which we try to limit but still enjoy on our way of eating, which would be nuts, seeds, avocado. These are things that are perfectly healthy calories, but they're much richer in fat, and you don't burn fat as easily as you burn carbs. We'll talk about that. So we try to limit those, and again, they just add lots of flavor to the food, but you don't want to overdo it. This is where there's a lot of confusion for people because they think you can just go eat plant-based and be well on your way to victory, and that is not the case. I did it for 3 years. I couldn't figure this out. Even me, who's got a YouTube channel talking all about this, it took me 3 years to figure this out. So I'm here today to try to make it easier for you to understand. You have to focus on whole natural foods, health promoting foods like I've just explained in order to get health. So we're here today to talk more about starches and carbs, okay? If you want to learn more about starches, this is a great book, Dr. John McDougall's The Starch Solution. It's kind of the basis of really everything we do on this channel, in addition to many other plant-based doctors who are promoting a very healthy way of eating, much like Dr. John McDougall. There are little differences between the plant-based doctors, but they are not dramatic differences, and we try to help you sift through that on our channel. So be sure to subscribe and check out more of our content. So I do want to explain that the human being, the way that we are today, has been this way for about 250,000 years or so. And before that, it took us millions and millions and millions of years to evolve into what we are today and have been for the last 250,000 million years. And the reason I'm saying that is because we have evolved a certain way of eating. Not only can we prove through archaeology that humans ate the bulk of our calories from starches, like the ones I listed off, but we also have a really simple way of proving it, and that is that our body is powered by sugar, the sugar that we break down from the whole natural starches that we eat. If you eat carbs, healthy, whole natural carbs, you are already fueling the body with its natural priority one fuel source, okay? This is the food we ate forever and ever and ever. Did we supplement with other things? Yes, of course. We still had to eat protein, which is in most starches, and we still had to eat fat, which is also in starches, but sometimes we got some fancy fat, like I explained, with the nuts and whatever, but they were rare. Mostly what we were eating is starches. And the archaeological evidence proves this, but also we just know it's obviously true because that's the primary fuel source of the brain. Glucose is what we burn. So if you can feed your body with whole natural forms of the glucose that we need to burn as fuel, you're going to be in very good shape for it. Now, some people like to starve themselves of starch, carbs, in order to turn on our secondary fuel source, which is fat. We can burn fat. That's why humans evolved the ability to store fat on our bodies. We have way more fat on our bodies than all of the other apes, for example. And that extra fat store allowed us to get further and further away from the equator, which meant that we would have to go longer without food because of the seasons that happen in the northern and southern hemispheres of the planet. So we evolved an ability to go out further and explore and then not eat so much food and then burn the fat that we've stored. So a lot of people will hijack the body's natural processes in order to prioritize fat burning, which is not a healthy or sustainable way to eat. It causes a lot of problems in people. They pretend like it's just this great energy boost, but it isn't. It gives you heart disease, it can give you strokes, it can give you a heart attack because you're eating a bunch of fat and then trying to get your body to only prioritize burning fat. But the real fuel source of humans is starch. That's what we should be eating, the food of our ancestors, and that's what we promote on this channel. And lo and behold, we're pretty darn healthy for it. So now let's talk about this fixation on carbs. I don't like to use that word at all because the macros that we eat, it's not something you really need to pay attention to at all. All the foods, if you just eat a wide variety of healthy, whole natural foods, you're gonna hit the macros that you need to. I'm not talking about people that are trying to be bodybuilders and put on a whole bunch of muscle in an abnormal way, but for people that just wanna live a normal, healthy, active lifestyle where you're out gardening or doing any other kind of, reasonably active things, exercising, playing with your kids inside, doing yoga, whatever. You don't really need to pay attention to what your macros are. You just need to eat a healthy variety of whole natural foods. Check out our food pyramid. It shows you where the basis of our calories are coming from. Obviously, it's the whole starches, the fruit, the non-starchy veggies, and a little bit of added fat, and that's really what we eat. So we have tons of people who demonize carbs because they're already in trouble. They've been eating garbage for so many decades that now every time they eat carbs, their blood sugar is going up. So you see a lot of type 2 diabetes in this country. It is on the rise. It is going up, 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 and people are getting fatter and fatter as well. Now it's that 3/4 of our population is either overweight or obese, which is astonishing because it was never like that before. So what changed? The food changed. Our base calories changed. Where we get our actual nutrition from completely changed, and it's now hijacked food because we learned science and we got smart with how to hijack the taste buds and make things that taste really, really good, and now we've trained people to want a mouthgasm in every bite, and that is just not a healthy way to eat, and it's why we've gotten into such trouble. So then we see, okay, we eat carbs and we measure our blood sugar however you do it, and oh, our blood sugar is through the roof, so now we have to limit our blood sugar in order to keep our diabetes at bay. Now you're just trying to treat a symptom rather than the actual problem. If you went back to a whole natural diet full of carbs, whole natural carbs, your body would return to normal and you can reverse your type 2 diabetes actually with relative ease. It's hard to stick to, which is the whole purpose of our channel, making it really easy to stick to, but it's actually very easy mechanically and what needs to be done. It's so much less complex than having to go to your doctor for meds that you're going to be on for the rest of your life because you're not willing to give up the diet. And most doctors assume that you won't want to give up your standard American diet, so they don't even try that. They just put you on the meds and hope that you'll at least keep it at bay until the time that you would die anyway. And unfortunately, what that's led to is people being very sick and unhealthy for the last 10 years of your life. I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend the last 10 years of my life immobile because of the way that I chose to eat or needing a nurse to wipe my butt forever. I want to be able to do that. I don't just want to tick 10 more years off so that I can say that I was alive for them, even though my life will be miserable during that time. I'd rather die before all that happens. Even better, I'd rather live the full average length of a human life, but do it where I'm living well the whole time. I don't need to live till I'm 100. That's not my goal. If it happens, great. Of course, I want that to happen, but you can't control it. I can do everything in my power to eat the healthiest diet imaginable, and I still might never get to 100. So what I want to do is eat a relatively healthy diet. My everyday calories are going to be healthy. Am I saying that you can't eat bad carbs from time to time? No, you can indulge most likely as long as your health permits it. If you've gotten everything back into order, then yeah, you can probably have a little bit of junk food from time to time. But we're talking about our base recipes, the food that we actually eat day in and day out. That is what you really want to make sure you're doing right, and that will promote your health in the long term. You need to get rid of the bad carbs, the garbage carbs, all of the processed junk that's got a nutrition label you don't understand because it's full of ingredients that make no sense to you, and processed junk, that's what you've got to get out. That's the bad carbs. Focus on the whole healthy natural starches like we have in all of our recipe videos. We have hundreds of recipes. Join our cooking show, which is so awesome, not just because we educate you and we give you a great vocabulary of recipes that you can apply to your own life, but we also have an incredible community of people that are going to root you on. Many of us do not have people in our real physical life, in our town, in our village, wherever we are, that are going to eat like us and support us through this. So our community that we've built of several thousand people now on our cooking show, these are the people that you want. We have our regulars in our chat box. Community is so important. It is undervalued, and it is one of the most important aspects if you actually want to stick to this way of eating in the long term. You need people to connect with that do this like you, to laugh with for a little bit. You've got to have them in your life. This is a great opportunity, is joining a community like ours. Our Facebook group is completely free. 30,000 plus people in there that are eating like us and supporting one another through this. So don't demonize carbs just for the sake of saying they're carbs. Most carbs are laden with fat anyway, and they should actually be called fat. You want to eat a healthy, whole natural diet, which happens to be a very low fat diet just by its very nature. Can you eat some fat too? Of course, but make sure you're getting the bulk of your calories off of whole natural starches, and you will achieve health. Watch more of our content, sign up for our show. We'd love to see you there. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.